On the Jacob Buehrer Show today, I'm so happy to have on a guy who I'm sure a lot of our younger listeners know. Maybe not the older listeners, but for the younger ones, I'm happy to have on Wade Whitaker today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I've been following your podcast for a while, so I heckled you enough and finally got on. So
This all got planned within like the last 3 hours. So
we'll
yeah,
see how it goes.
fun
This is my
stuff.
game.
So you're of course from this town.
Mhm.
What led you to wanting to become a police officer? You played basketball, among other things. You're a graduate of New Palestine High School, like me now.
Yeah,
It's crazy to think.
congrats, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy to think would you like to say that to the other high schoolers?
What?
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, congratulations, class of 2023. You made it. Welcome to the club, I guess. It's an elite group.
It isn't fun at all. There's no benefits to it, I can tell you. Like literally, there's no benefits. Like
It's
I
just the
thought.
start, though. It's just the
Yeah.
start,
So what kind of got you into, were you always into law enforcement as a kid?
Yes and no. Like I kind of always thought like I was interested in it, and I went to school. I graduated from IUPUI and I studied political science and criminal justice.
Oh, so you might be a politician.
I don't know if
Are
that's
you running
me.
for county sheriff?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay.
Kind of in class and stuff, that kind of made me a little more interested. And then once I got out of school, I actually went and worked at a bank for like 3 years, or maybe not even 3 years, maybe like 2 years. And I did loans, and I hated it. It's not that I hated the job; it's just that I sitting behind a desk, I knew it wasn't for me. I kind of started slowly looking into law enforcement and stuff like that, and then a spot opened up here, and here I am 4.5 years later, 5 years later. So,
And you got a new car. You used to have like the little.
I know, now I got a cool car,
Yeah.
so it's a pretty sweet deal.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, for those wondering, this behind us, because we are filming this at the town hall, this is a mannequin that they use for taser training. So
Yeah.
don't think that I have these in all my videos if this is your first time listening. But I thought, might as well keep it back. There goes with the setting, interviewing a police officer.
We
So
call him Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold.
You look
Steve.
at his face, he looks just like Steve Austin. So
Wow.
it's the only time one of us will ever be able to take him down.
So what would you say? Do you have a favorite memory, growing up in New Palestine? For a lot of us, of course, and you were kind of, when you were in the glory days, we weren't quite as known for football. We had some down years,
Mm-hmm.
What was because of course a lot of our grade would say, or the class below us or above us, and some others would say football games are the best memories, or track, whatever it is. That was kind of weird. I don't think anybody thinks watching track is the best. I can say that I did
You ran
track, so I
of
can say
course
that.
it is.
But what would you kind of say was your favorite memory?
In high school, I don't know, probably playing basketball. Those were those 3 or 4 years, those were like some of my best friends. I'm still friends with almost all those guys to this day. So probably playing basketball. I think we won sectionals my junior and senior year. So that was a lot of fun. Both years they kind of didn't expect us to win. So it was kind of like a fun little ride to do that back-to-back years. And probably that. And honestly, going to the football games, being in the student section, yelling and screaming with your friends, rooting for your friends. That's all fun stuff. So stuff like that.
Interesting. And of course, an interesting fact about you is you still work at a place that you've worked at for a long time called the Lynx.
Yeah.
They get a free shout out, I guess.
Yeah.
Softball coach would be happy about that.
Yeah. Shout out to the Lynx.
Yeah. So tell us your little journey with that.
Yeah. So actually,
I just think it's an interesting fact.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. I think I was like 15 when I started working there, and I had a friend who was a couple years older than me who worked there, and like all my friends worked there at the time. For some reason, that was the place to work when we were in high school. And one of my friends texted me, was like, "Hey, so and so just got fired. Come in and apply." So honestly, one of my friends got fired. I don't know what he did, probably something silly, but I was like, all right. So I walked in and filled out an application, and I'm still working there like 14 years later, which is crazy, but just every once in a while. So like once every 2 weeks, I'll work a shift or something to go out there and see all the old guys which I'm slowly becoming one of the old guys, I guess. So
What job do you enjoy more? I gotta ask that question. Fire question.
this one, I definitely, police is a bit, I enjoy it more, but the links is definitely more relaxing. That's just golf and hanging around and watching TV. This is going to be a little more intense, but I definitely like this job more, but they both are two totally separate things, you know?
Couple firebrand questions.
Okay.
What is the most respectful age group to you? And I think that's a question most people probably think, oh, it must be the elders, people in their 70s, 80s. But, you know, of course, not every person is, you know, you've been at the school at times. So, of course, we know you a little bit better on that level. But what would you kind of say is just the nicest group to you?
It depends.
When I mean group, like you can say senior citizens above 65, adults, which I'm not going to count 18-year-olds. I'm going to count, you know, like 30 to 55. And then kids would be like 12 to 20, you know, what age groups nicest?
Honestly, each age group has super, super nice people. And I've ran into each age group that had not so nice people. And that's okay. The biggest thing is, and what I've noticed is if you're nice to people first, 99% of the time, they're going to be nice to you back. So that's kind of my mentality is, you know, usually if we're dealing with someone, it's probably their worst day. It's probably they're having a bad day if we're around them. So you kind of have to put yourself in that mindset where, all right, wherever I'm going, this person's already having a bad day. So how can I make it better? And usually if you come in with that type of attitude, normally they can reciprocate back by being nice back to you. So
interesting. A couple other questions I have is when you get pulled over, people are anxious, you know?
Yeah.
What are maybe 3 things you'd say to them that's going through your mind as you're approaching to maybe make them feel like it's not the worst thing going on in your life because you were going 10 over the limit, going fast to work? What would you kind of say is 3 ways that maybe people should be calmer when the police officers approach them? I think that's a very important question in today's society.
Yeah. So the weird thing is like, I can remember, you know, before I did this job, I could tell you every single time that I got stopped. So, you know, I probably got stopped 3 or 4 times in my life before I was a police officer. And I remember every single one of those times. But, you know, I'll have people that, you know, will come up to me and be like, hey, do you remember when you stopped me here a couple of weeks ago? And I'm like, I don't remember it at all. So, you know, sometimes, you know, what someone who gets stopped may take it as a very like personal, it's never personal. You know, it's something that we do multiple times a day. So my biggest thing is don't let it ruin your day. It's not a big deal. It's a standard routine thing. And normally if you're getting stopped, it's probably in the long run to make you safer or the people around you safer.
And you don't know, maybe those 5 minutes of them being late somewhere saved their life.
Yeah.
Somebody's going through a red light. You don't know. That's the other thing is I kind of do believe in that theory behind it that, you know, a lot of things in life are planned. It's not just by mistake, you know. It's not just by mistake that I'm now a podcast host, right? I always had a decent voice, right? You know.
You had to work for it though.
Yeah. So, you know, that's a very good viewpoint to have on it. And my kind of last couple questions are, what advice would you have to somebody wanting to maybe pursue something in law enforcement? It doesn't have to be a cop. It could be well, it could be they want to be a detective, you know. What would you just say to them?
Yeah, I always tell people that are interested in it, once you're of age, at some places it's 18, other places it's 21, and some will let you do it earlier, is do ride-alongs.
So a 16-year-old can be a cop?
No, I'm saying you have to be, in Indiana, you have to be 21, but I'm saying to do ride-alongs. So a lot of people will do, you have to sign waivers and stuff like that, but you can come and do a ride-along, and basically you just sit in the passenger seat with a, you know, police officer and just watch them work their shift. So a lot of people will do that if they're interested in it. And that gives you the exact vibe of, oh yeah, this is for me, or no, it's not, because you see exactly what we see. You go to the same calls that we do. So you really get the most hands-on experience that you can possibly get. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, that's the best experience that you can probably have without, you know, doing the actual job. That'll show you exactly what we do and don't do on a regular basis.
If I get better cameras one day, perhaps that could be something.
Yeah, you could be like the next live PD with Jacob Buehrer. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, we had that incident a couple of years ago that went all the way down, ended up going in Greenfield. That was do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Briefly, it started in Lawrence, gone all the way down to where near Brookville Road Community Churches, and then straight up here and ended in Greenwood. right near where the Leo's is now in the car dealerships, about a mile north of that. So that was
Yeah,
yeah.
interesting stuff.
Now, can you confirm that live PD is not staged?
I have no idea. I can't confirm or deny that, but my assumption is that it's not, but assuming is never good. But I don't think it's fake. I don't know anyone. I know they do it in Beech Grove now. It was in Lawrence and now they do it in Beech Grove. I don't know anyone who works for Beech Grove, so might have to ask one then.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, I appreciate you coming on Jacob Buehrer Show today. Let's just end with one other thing. What is an interesting fact about you, and what college team and pro teams do you root for?
Ooh,
Interesting fact, and then that little sports question. to top things off.
interesting fact. You put me on the spot. We talked about this one.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm not even interesting at all. I like to fish. Actually, I'm not good at it. I just started like a month ago. So now I'm like hooked. Yeah, it's an out, but I'm hooked on fishing right now. So I really like that. I'm not very good, but I'm working on it. I'm a huge, like a big Pacers fan. I listen to the Pacers podcast all the time. So that keeps me entertained.
I host that show too.
You host that show? Okay. Maybe not, maybe in a little bit you will.
Yeah.
And then definitely root for the Pacers, of course, and the Colts, which is a struggle rooting for both of them right now.
Should Tony Dungy come on the show?
He should. Why shouldn't he?
I've had on Lou Holtz, Gene Katie. I think we need to have on a couple other.
Well, what I said is like, I'm here, so it's only up after me. So.
I'll just say this real quick. The interview's never about me, but there's weeks where I get 8 responses back, and there's 4 interviews in 90 hours. There's also weeks where, like last week, it was like 0 for 12. Although I will just say this, and I've not really revealed this. Lil Pump's manager said that if he ever comes to Indiana, I can interview him backstage.
Can I come to that?
Yes.
I would like to also go to the Little Pump
However, though,
interview.
I saw that he's in Chicago, so I'm trying to tell the manager that's right over state lines. I can make it up there, but he hasn't got back to me on that yet.
A Lil Pump show in Chicago sounds dangerous. You want me to go?
Just kidding. You know what? Security detail if I'm interviewing Lil Pump.
There we go.
Or like ever interviewing Donald Trump or Bill Gates or Elon. The amount of people then that'll be coming after me, I might need a guard for today. So
yeah,
we'll definitely consider that if that ever happens. Again, you never know. On YouTube, one of them might see it and they'll contact me. Miami was public on the Jacob Buehrer Show Instagram. So
you never know.
So then one other thing is, would you say if you had to pick anywhere to go on a vacation right now, where would it be?
Ooh.
Last question. In case you're wondering how much longer this is going to be.
Oh, I'm sure they're dying for more. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, Montana.
Woo!
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess that's like staying in the country. Montana. Do you ever watch Yellowstone?
So
I watched a little bit
of. Yeah,
it.
Montana residents are saying no, that is not what our state is like at all.
I know, but
Montana residents are mad about it.
Is it really? Well, I heard most
they don't
of it's
want people
filmed
moving.
I think it's filmed like,
especially because of their voter demographics, or not voter their voter political elections would change by who wins in that state. So that's another story, but yeah.
Yeah, I think most of it's not even filmed in Montana. I forget where it's mostly filmed.
Hollywood.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's my destination. Where's yours?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Honestly,
I'm not supposed to ask you questions on your podcast.
No, you're allowed to. I'm okay. I guess it's more like Joe Rogan type of show interview here where it's back and forth. I would say, and it's going to sound crazy, outer space. I've interviewed 20 astronauts. I've interviewed a guy who's walked on the moon. So hell, if I ever get the chance to do any of that, I will absolutely
International Space Station?
Well, a guy who I interviewed 2 years ago is on the space station until tomorrow. So
that's crazy.
He actually paid, well, I probably shouldn't say, but he paid $55 million to go to space for 14 days. So if you're looking to spend a week or 2 in space, it's still cheaper to go to Florida.
Montana sounds a little cheaper than that.
Yeah. It does take a couple flights to get there.
Yeah,
I will say it's a boring state to fly over.
Yeah, I believe it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on Jacob Buehrer Show today.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
The pleasure has been mine, and I wish you safety as you're out there, and thank you for your service to our community.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me on. It was fun.
Thank you.